have a very special guest for you tonight.
Hello, we've been expecting you.
This is not a test. Your government and corporate overlords have implemented new measures for your own health and safety. We are just following orders.
Everything is going to be fine.
I'd like to introduce...
Welcome, everyone, to another If by Whiskey. I did not add myself to the studio. How's everybody doing out there? First of all, let me get the chat set up because we've got a special guest coming up here very soon. We've got Jack Danger coming on very soon. So I'm looking for him in the square in the bottom there. As soon as he jumps on, he's actually finishing up a conversation with Congressman Tim Burchett, actually. So if you're heading from over here, welcome. If you are still talking with him or still watching that, please stay there until. So, welcome to another If I Whiskey, everybody. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. You can see that there's somebody's missing, and he's missed already. So, we didn't get to talk about it yesterday or last week. We went a little long with Tyrone, which is great because the conversation just kind of naturally took off. So, it was really nice. But basically, Jason has decided to take a little break. So we are sans Jason. What's really interesting about that is I had a little bit of I don't know, it wasn't a crisis. It was existential of some sort, but it wasn't really a crisis. But it was more like questioning, as in like, hey, Jason's taking a step back. What should I do? Should I take a step back as well? So I threw it out to the universe and I'm like, hey, should I continue this podcast? And my first sign was really, well, I mean, it was good and it really wasn't good or bad. It just was. I get an email from, let's see, who do I get an email from? Okay, I get an email from a guy. Now, this guy's on LinkedIn. And to give you a little backstory, very simple. This guy has a podcast studio in Arizona. And he opened it in like May of 2024. I think it was an old rental property that he had converted over. So he had reached out through LinkedIn to a handful of content creators that were local. He came across me somehow. So he reached out to me. We had a long conversation back and forth, and he invited me over to his podcast studio. There were about maybe four other content creators, maybe 4 or 5. Content creators, whatever, podcasters. Anyway, so I go over his house and I've got my business cards. I'm handing out to everybody. The guy had snacks. We were there for hours, went to his house. I bought this camera that you're recording on right now, this one right here. I bought this camera because he is the one who told me to get it. So it was very interesting. Anyway, so that's how that is. Now, what's interesting about this is I had such a positive experience out of that. I was blown away by his kindness and generosity that I looked up his podcast name via website. So I look up www. His name of his podcast studio thing. And I bought a 3-year subscription. I bought it for him though. I bought it to gift him. So I end up buying the website. And what I do is I literally go online and I go on LinkedIn. I've got the conversation. I'm like, hey, just so you know, this is the name of your podcast studio, right? Okay. I bought the website, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to gift it to you as as kindness for your generosity, inviting me over your house, blah, blah, blah. He and I have a conversation back and forth. We even talk about collaborating in the future, whatever. So once again, Jason leaves and I am at existential crisis time. So I just, hold on one second. We got Jack coming on in about 5 minutes. All right, letting them know right now. So anyway, so everyone get ready for Jack Danger. This is going to be an exciting conversation. He literally just got off the conversation with Tim Burchett, so it should be pretty awesome. Anyway, so what happened was I get an email completely out of the blue. not to me, but to my generic, like not even through a form letter, through my website, nothing. I get an email that says, "Hey, Mark, my name is blah, blah, blah. I have a podcast studio in Arizona called blah, blah, blah. I see that you bought the website, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to buy it from you if I could." So, that was like a kick in the balls for me. Cause like we talk about podcasting as being a community and things like that. And I like to think that I try to connect with everyone whom I meet, especially people who invite me personally to their house. And I go to their house and I spend hours there, and I can tell exactly what I did and didn't get from his recommendations and why I didn't get them. But anyway, so what I felt very insignificant after that moment. I'm like, wow, this guy didn't even, whoa, bro, that one hurts, Zach. Yeah, it is gay. It's totally gay, man. I felt worthless because like I literally spend hours with this guy and this guy doesn't even fucking remember me. So anyway, so I told him it would be $600 or $599, to avoid the 1099. But basically, that's how it is. It's okay, man, because I'm feeling you. Because that's how I felt beginning of the week. I swear to God, I felt the same way. Now, I shared that story with a few people, and I was very disheartened. I was very depressed. I'm not going to lie. I've been doing this for over 5 years. I've got 250 episodes, 500 hours, a lot of stuff. I put a lot of effort and time into it. It's okay. It's okay that it's not what people want it to be or what I'd like it to be or anything like that. Not a big deal. So I was starting to make peace with that as this week turned, like, hey, you know what? I didn't even make impact with a guy I met in person. Maybe I should stop. So I start thinking I'm going to wind it down, and then all of a sudden, once again, I do have the question out to the universe, whatever you want to call that, and I'm like, do I continue this? And out of the blue, I start getting emails from people I don't even know. So currently, I have 4 podcasts set up that I didn't have last week. I didn't have a show last week, and now we have 4 podcasts. So let's go to Zach here. I'm with you. Kind of want to shoot. Okay, well, we don't want to do that, sir. No, sir. We don't do that. I do not promote that. I did not see that, sir. Someone give Zach a call, please. Can someone reach out to Zach on the twits? Buddy, you all right, man? Seriously, let's talk. If you got to talk, you can jump on if you want to with Jack. You're welcome, man. I'll give you the link if you want. So you let me know. Because we love you. So don't do this stuff to us, man. We love you too much for this. So anyway, the thing is, I ask, and I now have a conversation with Jack Danger today. I have a conversation with Clint Russell, whom I have tried to get since December of 2023. I spoke with his running mate, Mike Rechtenwald, in December of 2023. I had reached out to Clint at that point. He got so busy February, March, you saw with the LP and all that stuff. So anyway, so we saw that happen. I've got Clint Russell then next week. Now that's tentative. Clint Russell is a very popular, very famous person who has to reschedule often. I have a feeling. So it's tentative. I'm looking forward to it. But then, today is the 27th. The 3rd is Clint Russell. The 10th is my good boy Free from Are You Smarter Than a Politician? So the host of Are You Smarter Than a Politician, Free, will be on the 10th. That's the Monday. And then the 17th, I'm actually going to be in Austin, flying back from Austin. So if you're in Austin from the 15th to the 17th of November, please let me know. I've got Comedy Mothership tickets, and I've got a concert on Sunday that I'm going to. So please reach out. I'm going with my girlfriend. We're doing a little anniversary / vacation-y kind of thing. Very short 2-day thing. So it'll be awesome. But so anyway, so I sent out to the universe, and then the 20th, I have a gentleman named Shaka Mitchell who just reached out to me out of the blue. Now, one of the interesting people that I've got the publisher for some people who are associated with Turning Point USA, which is very interesting because I don't know how they came across my name or my stuff. So it's really weird that that they're on there. Anyway, so Jack should be finishing up with Tim Burchett, Congressman Tim Burchett, Rep Tim Burchett from Tennessee, I think. And next week they have Eric Burleson. So, well, you don't want to do that, buddy. Okay. Someone get over there with Zach. Someone talk to him. We love you too much, man. We don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. Come on. Keep doing your thing. Your new show is awesome. Your new show is awesome, man. So anyway, so welcome. So if you have any questions for us, please let us know. Jack started off the show talking about the gambling scandal. Now I stayed out of the news over this weekend. I know there was this bust thing, but I heard the rabbit hole goes deep. So I hope when Jack comes on, he can talk about it. The other thing is Jack I think Jack's a very unique thinker. And I'll say this because I would argue that I made some assumptions about Jack. I assumed some things, and having little chats with him, without being confrontational, it's more like just asking him questions. He's expressing things like, "Oh wow, that's more aligned than I thought." So I'm gonna try to. I hope we come from the side of like, similar sides, because I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a rhetoric guy. It's not. I'm kind of over the sides of it. So anyway, so he should be coming on. But Zach, you have any questions, man? Or we're going to talk about we're going to get Econ Bro on, right? We're going to do a League of Friends. League of Ordinary Friends we're going to do. So anyway, welcome everyone once again. Just waiting on Jack to come in, but we've got a pretty interesting show. I know they just talked about Beto O'Rourke, I think, and something about Memphis, Tennessee. So we'll see what happens when they come back from that. I could probably use an update or something like that. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. So I sent out to the universe. So just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. I've got at least 4 more podcasts, maybe a 5th scheduled right now until these people drop off after this one, because I can't get my – no, just kidding. Anyway, so welcome again. I know you feel that, man, but it's not. It's not. Anyway, so we've got some interesting stuff to talk about. Let's see what else we got. Bombing Venezuela. So if anyone knows, if you get bombed on a boat in international waters from Venezuela and you survive, you just get sent back to your country without charges. That's what I hear. So I guess it's like a game. So if you cannot die when you're attacked by America off the shores of your own country, then you get sent back. You actually don't have to stand charges for drug or anything. Oh, that's an interesting one. Well, they're not good people, man. I think people use religion to hide behind. I think the evil's just evil, and then they just use groups to hide behind. But that's just me. I could be wrong. I mean, there are evil groups out there. Don't get me wrong. I find it's easier to hijack a current group or something than it is to maybe create your own, especially when you're nihilistic. I think it'd be pretty challenging. So anyway, so welcome everyone. Another If by Whiskey. I am without Jason, and I'm sad, actually. I'm sad because Jason's not here. So my heart hurts a little bit. For some reason, my battery says it's fully charged. I'm hoping it's fully charged. Did I just lose power or something? That's interesting. Anyway. All righty. Well, all the technical stuff's going to go to shit because Jason's not here. So anyway, welcome. Zach, are you the only guy that's in here? It shows like there's a bunch of people in the X there, but perhaps not. Anyway. All righty. So let's see what we got going on. So what we're going to talk about, actually, what's interesting, they talked about the gambling thing. I remember back, I think it was 2006, 2007, when Rick Tocchet of Philadelphia Flyer fame and Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes fame, whatever you want to call it, that he was indicted or embroiled in a gambling racket with Janet Gretzky? Was it Wayne's wife? Yeah, actress wife, Janet Jones. Ooh, so interesting. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Welcome, and anyway. So what else we got? Okay, so Jason, I thought I mentioned it. All right, so Jason's having a baby in December, and I will not speak for Jason, but I think he's gonna focus on his child, and I think that's a really awesome thing for him. So he's got a baby girl, man. He's got to protect her and do all the good stuff that a dad's got to do. So it's a big loss for me from a greedy sense. But anyway, yeah. So Jason is just not here right now. So anyway, I'm sad. So it looks like Jack just reposted, so it should be good to go. I had to redo the Rumble link because I'm an idiot and all that good stuff, but we'll see. Yes, 100%. Congratulations to Jason. Really awesome. 100%. I'm so excited for him. I'm only bummed because there was a thing. It was working, you know what I mean? There was a good back and forth, a little vibe. But yeah, but it's great. I'm so happy for him. Look, you met my other co-host Chris when he just felt it was time for him. Like I was bummed. All right, I'm gonna let Jack straighten it out. I'm gonna let him. I think he could probably hear me. He's good. He's got the thumbs up. I'm gonna add him right now.
Hey.
Hey, Jack. What's up, man? Welcome.
Thank you. How you doing?
Good, man. I watched like 90% of it. I had to obviously jump on here. Start, but I got to Memphis. So I think your co-host was just going to ask Congressman Burchett about Memphis. So before we even get to go, could you finish that conversation real quick, and then we'll get started, man. Then we'll get talking.
Well, yeah. About Memphis, he was asking him, because it's turned into basically a shithole at this point. It's nothing but crime. Just like all the other Democrat-run cities. And he said, that they're going to try to clean it up. I think Trump is going to bring in the National Guard at some point, most likely, the same way he did. He cleaned up Chicago and Washington, D.C. and all these others. He did a great job on those. So he's probably going to bring it into Memphis, too. I think that's one of the ones he talked about, as well as San Francisco. I also asked him, about some other things, but we'll get into that, man. It was a really good conversation.
It was really awesome. And I mean, you had a truncated time. You had about 30 some minutes, but you really made the most of it. So we'll get to that. What's interesting, a lot of people from our space would may have been to Freedom Fest. Was it 4 years ago? I think it was at Memphis. A lot of people had scary stories about that. So I'm sure people will be scaring that. So first of all, welcome to If by Whiskey, man. We don't know each other. We've never met. I've watched a couple of your shows. I watched your politician show with Free, of course, but I don't know you. I will say I made assumptions. Okay. Now I still have assumptions. We all do. We all go in bias. I watch some of your stuff, even just from early things we just said, but that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here, we're going to start to get to know each other because I don't know you. You said things to me in a private chat that I would have assumed you would not have thought otherwise. Right. So we do this. We grab you take an ideology or a thought, and then we just put everybody in this bucket, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a step back, man. Your name's Jack Danger. You're a podcast holic. Welcome, Jack.
I appreciate it.
I'd love to hear your origin story, man. Tell us from like your starting point. How did you get into just all this? And this show's called Tangents. I'll stop and I'll jump in and ask weird questions off back and forth. We're just here to get to know each other, man. I'm here to get to know you, understand what your views are. I'm not here to, we'll argue another time, but this time, but how can we even, unless we understand where we come from, how can we even start to have a conversation? Right.
No, you're absolutely right. Okay. So basically, now first of all, I'm gonna tell you how I came up with the name Jack Danger. Obviously, that's my nom de plume. It's just a name that I use for podcasting and any kind of thing outside of my actual job or anything like that, because it's just it helps keep you safe from doxing and other things like that. Plus, it's the same thing that celebrities do or anybody else, singers. So I like the name Jack Danger. It's funny, I came up with that name because have you ever seen the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine? It's a hilarious show. Andy Samberg, really, really funny. So what happened was him and his partner were going to see this USPS agent, the United States Postal Inspection Service. Yeah. And his name on the thing, it said Jack Danger. And he's like, whoa, Jack Danger. That name is badass, badass. So then when he goes in there and he says, are you Jack Danger? And he's like, it's actually pronounced Donger, Jack Donger. And it was so fun. And then he's like, call me Jackie Donger. It was just it was hilarious, man. So I'm thinking, you know what? I want to be Jack, since he's not going to be Jack Danger, I'll be Jack Danger. I love that name. It was awesome. And so the whole podcast thing got started with James, actually, because he found me on X and I came on his radio show. He hosts a radio show in I think God, I want to say it's Springfield, Missouri. He hosts a radio show there. It's on the radio there, obviously, but anybody can listen to it nationally at ksgf.com. And so he hosts the radio show there, and he found me on X and he asked me to be on the show. So I came on the radio show for about an hour or two, however long it was. And then we were inundated with comments saying, how much chemistry we had, how good, we should do podcasts, this or that. So that's how it got started. He found me on X. I came on his radio show. And then before you know it, we started with audio only. So we were doing audio. I mean, this is back in infancy of podcasting, before we even knew what we were doing. So we started audio only. We put, just a cheap little logo that I made, that was just, cheap little paint logo. It wasn't good or anything like that. And, we started with audio. Then we moved on to, other things to where we eventually are now, which is, live streaming on, all the platforms. We have our own website, secretamericalive.com. And, it's gone pretty far. I mean, look, now we've got, U.S. congressmen coming on our show. We had Dinesh D'Souza a couple of weeks ago. Now we've got, a sitting U.S. Congressman, Tim Burchett. And next week we have another sitting U.S. Congressman, Eric Burleson. So, it's going really well.
Yeah, you're doing great, man. You're just on fire for it.
I
so congratulations on that. Now, how did you hone your personal perceptions politically, ideologically, things like that? How did you come to the side you're on? Because I find you extremely nuanced. Mm-hmm. You tell me National Guard should be in Memphis, and I'm sitting here screaming at myself inside my head. At the same point, you're the same guy who said Libya was the biggest fucking mistake we made. Like, you know what I mean? These are two things that are held very differently. So like what clearly makes me think about that is that you've thought about the individual topic as they are contextually in there. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah, no, you're right. So, you're exactly right.
How did you get to that? Because like it's interesting with Free. Like Free mentioned, like he aligns a little bit more with you than your co-host. But when I watched the Dinesh D'Souza one, I couldn't really distinguish between them. And it's a snapshot, right? I don't get hours and hours. Like I read people generally, but it takes some time to get there, right? So how did you get to using that kind of thought process to pick your side?
Honestly, it's been honed over a long period of time. I was never really into politics. 2008 was the first time I was allowed to vote legally. I was over 18 in 2008. I voted for Barack Obama because I thought, and I wasn't into politics at the time, but I voted for him because he said everything you wanted to hear. But, I didn't know that he came out of nowhere, that he's actually Kenyan, all these things. But he said what you wanted to hear. We wanted change. And it sounded like he was going to be that person. Now, 2012, huh?
Don't forget the hope.
Oh, the hope that, yes, we can change the whole thing. But in 2012 now, I voted for Mitt Romney only because he was the lesser of two evils. They're both terrible. It's like in New York right now, the lesser of two evils, Mamdani or the grandma killer Cuomo. Honestly, believe it or not, the grandma killer is the lesser of two evils because Mamdani will kill a hell of a lot more people with his communist policies. But anyways, so I'm getting off track there. But how I got to that point...
No, that's the point, though. No, go off track, man. That's what we're doing. Let's talk Mamdani. Yeah, he's not going to be able to implement 90% of it. It's going to fall on his face. You'll see a collapse. It's not going to work.
Let me tell you this. Okay, so for one thing, he's never had a job. He has no idea how to run a government, how to handle an emergency, anything like that. He's wanting to run 8.5 million people. That's what he wants to do. 8.5 million people. And he can't do that. He has no idea what to do. So all he's going to do is listen to advisors, and that's going to get him nowhere because these advisors are going to be liberal. They're going to, basically shape his agenda. And not only that, but did you know he lied about he said his aunt, I believe it was riding the subway after 9/11, and she got all kinds of dirty looks and bad things said to her because she's Arab or Muslim or whatever it is. Now it comes to find out his aunt
was that before or after they found the passport in the rubble? Which
Oh, I don't know. It's probably after. But what I can tell you is his aunt never lived in New York City during 9/11 or afterwards. She lived in Tanzania, a whole nother country. Tanzania.
That was like Biden. That was like Biden talking about being there too.
Exactly. And then you've got the whole thing where he lies. He's actually lying, and I don't even know if he's lying or if he just doesn't know. He's talking about freezing the rent, right? So first of all, in New York, the only rent you can freeze is the rent that is rent controlled. That's only 25% of the apartments, right? Second, it's bullshit. He cannot freeze anything. You know who freezes the rents or who controls the rents? The Rent Guideline Board. And guess what? The mayor is not control of the Rent Guideline Board. So he cannot freeze the rents at all. He's either lying or he's a straight up idiot.
Oh, we got a good question here. I'm not going to say it, but that's pretty good.
Honestly, I think that will happen probably soon after that, and then also pedophilia, because that
happens with our fire chief in Mesa. Our fire chief in Mesa got caught goat screwing or something.
But see, radical Muslims, now regular Muslims are fine with me, but I will tell you that regular Muslims are only regular because they're the minority. When Muslims become the majority, they become radical. Then what they do is
I like to say that radical people are radical and non-radical people aren't. I think
not when you're a Muslim.
Mob mentality, right? But mob mentality happens with pitchforks and torches all the time.
Yeah, but see,
right?
Muslims,
once you get,
they hold themselves back. What they do is they're all radical because that's what the Quran, basically demands. So they hold themselves back because they're the minority and they know they can't do anything about it. But once enough of them get in, then wait till you see Mamdani win mayor. You will see radical Muslims all over New York City.
Yeah, that's why everyone should be carrying, and it shouldn't be illegal in New York City. I mean, I would argue that there would be a lot more pacifists if more people carried. I guarantee that shit wouldn't be out of hand. They target gun-free zones. It's crazy. Anyway, so Mamdani, obviously, he's gonna win, right? I mean, there's like little doubt, right?
Well, I'm hoping that he doesn't. I'm posting as much stuff as I can. When Trump was running his election over the course of 1 year for his election, I had 55 million impressions, so that's 55 million people that saw all the things that I was writing for Trump and advocating, lobbying for Trump to win. So I like to think that I kind of helped him win the election. Obviously, I wasn't, the deciding factor, but when 55 million people see your stuff.
Well, you added to it. You were part of that collective that really added to the bucket. Look, this election, in my opinion, was the left people. So it was all like everybody who got thrown out by this really weird sect of this blue-haired weirdos are like, everybody out. If you don't agree, get out. And they're like, all right, I guess we're out. And now they can't recapture it because they have nothing. They have nothing behind it,
Nothing. But even the radical governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, did not want to endorse Mamdani. She didn't want to endorse him at all, but she was forced to do so. So that tells you how radical he is.
Had Schumer even endorsed? I thought they still haven't, right? Booker and Schumer haven't? Or
that I don't know, but I do know that Hochul did not want to endorse him. She even, said so in her private circles, but then she was kind of forced to endorse him if she wants a political career after governor. But I will tell you that what boggles my mind, okay? Now, I will tell you that it is, who's his opponent? A grandmother killer. This happened 5 years ago. He stuffed all grandma and grandpas with COVID together in nursing homes. He killed them all. So, that's his opponent. So, I think they ran him against his opponent because they knew it's the only opponent he could easily beat. This man is a plant. Not only is he a plant, but this happened the 25th anniversary of 9/11 is next year. You're talking Muslims killed 3,000 New Yorkers, and then 25 years later, a Muslim radical is the mayor of New York City.
Yeah, well, number 3 in Al Qaeda is the head of Syria. So number 2.
We're
Number
talking America. You know, this is craziness.
I know.
Craziness.
Well, I know.
Back in the day,
it's nuts.
J. Edgar Hoover would have been following this guy, would have put a bullet in the back of his dome. We don't like communists. Back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, how the hell did the country flip a complete 180 to where now, did you know Vladimir Lenin said the goal of socialism is communism? Okay, that's the goal. So when they say they're socialists, their goal is communism. They can't say communism because they would lose if they said straight up communism. So socialism tested better with focus groups. But as soon as they get elected, it's communism. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah, they can't say communism.
Nope.
I mean, you just can't. But I mean, yeah, it's craziness. So you had an awesome conversation before you jumped on here.
Mhm.
Let's break down your conversation with the congressman, and then we'll talk about the stuff that you talked about before about the betting and stuff, and
Sure.
we'll go from there.
Okay, what do you want to know?
So yeah. So Burchett, tell me. I just want to get your immediate thoughts, man. That must have been exciting for you to have. Is that your first congressman you had like live, just boom right there in your face? You got to talk to in this format?
Yeah, it actually was the first U.S. congressman, first sitting U.S. congressman that we've had live. I mean, we've had candidates on there like Laverne Spicer. We've had political icons like Dinesh D'Souza, but this was the first sitting U.S. congressman. And the reason that I wanted him to be the first is because he's one of the few that is honest, forthright, will answer the questions. He was such an honest person. He answered every question. He didn't say, "Oh no, I can't really talk about this." He didn't say, even before the show, I asked him, "Is there any topic that is off limits that you don't want me to bring up?" He said, "No, he can talk about anything." This man is forthright and honest, and that's why he is the first U.S. congressman on Secret America.
That is awesome. So he's the first ever on your show. That's really cool. First of all, we got Will I Am right here. I am for I am. Welcome.
Very
And we've
cool.
got Legacy Right's here as well. Zach, everybody, welcome. We've got a bunch of people on. So this is what's really cool. Burchett, I watched his interview with Tucker, and to your point, very honest and open. So it's so cool because I got to meet Thomas Massey at Freedom Fest, and it was
He's
just a few weeks
one of the other ones. Yep,
right.
one of the good ones.
This is a few weeks after Rhonda passed,
Mm-hmm.
and he forced himself to come. And I get this weird thing. It's hard to explain, but we'll talk UFOs too. But I get this ping to walk to the front door. I walk in, and it's like 6 a.m. I mean, it's like the first thing in the morning, and he comes walking in with his dude, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I take a selfie with him. Every time I post my selfie, that selfie is that one that I took with him, that one picture. And I shook his hand. I said, "I'm so sorry." Offer my condolences right away. I'm like, you're so strong for coming. You know what I mean? It's, just a few weeks after. This is Freedom Fest, man. He could have canceled that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He could have postponed that. But he looks at me and he goes, "I cried all night in the hotel, so I wouldn't cry today." And I'm just like, this is a human, man. This is a guy. And then we vilify these people. And it's not that we can't. It's not that we shouldn't. They take the accountability. I mean, it's their responsibility. They get the accountability or whatever. But these people are human. And it's like watching just that and watching someone push through something like that was just real admirable.
And people don't realize that they're humans. They treat them like objects. They cuss at them, throw things at them, wish death upon them. I don't know how many people I've seen have fake blood on their freedom shirt right here, laughing about Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, these people are sick people. Did you know that the word liberal is actually an acronym? I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's actually an acronym. And liberal means lacking in basic education. So it's lacking in basic education, reason, and logic. That's what liberal stands for. And that's the truth. And that's why we call them liberal.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100%. So takeaways from the conversation with the congressman. What are some of the key points that you really took away that you'd love to share? You mentioned a bill about repealing, right? Smith-Munn. You talk about these other things. So I'd love to hear the way you process that stuff since you just spoke with him like that.
Well, I can tell you one of the big answers that people might skip over. He said that there is indeed. Now, this man he's on the House Intelligence Committee. Okay. He gets the House Oversight Committee, excuse me. He gets all of the intelligence and things like this behind closed doors. And I asked him, from everything you've seen publicly or behind closed doors, is there intelligent life beyond Earth? And he said, absolutely. He said the word indeed. Absolutely. Okay, this man just confirmed that there is indeed extraterrestrial intelligent life beyond Earth, and I happen to think that's unbelievable. This is not a crazy man. This is not some man who's saying, "Oh yeah, there's aliens." No. This is a man that has all the information behind closed doors that regular Americans do not have. This is a man that didn't shake and say, "Oh, well, I'm not sure." This is a man who said, "Yes, there is intelligent life beyond Earth." Emphatically, yes. And that's huge.
I do want to back that up with one quick statement because he did follow it up. He did say, "I think so." Now, he still confirmed it, to your point. But once again, he's saying that he has compelling evidence that makes him think that he clearly doesn't like actually, but he's saying what he saw compels him to think this 100%. And I can certainly agree with him. I'll share some stories with you in a little bit because it gets crazy. So here's a good question. Now, so from my perspective, let me set the stage. I voted Republican since 92. Bush Senior the second time when he lost.
There was no good candidates in the 90s.
It was 92 against Clinton. Okay, so I voted Clinton, Dole, McCain. I mean, I voted just a string of Republicans. Trump twice.
Wasn't Clinton Democrat?
Yeah, Clinton was Democrat. I'm saying it was Bush versus Clinton when Clinton won.
Yeah.
Clinton ran voted two seats. Right. Yeah. No, I didn't vote. No, I voted Bush, HW, but he lost to Clinton when he played the saxophone.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Hillary hater, way more than a Clinton.
Well, I hate them both. Don't get me wrong. I hate them both. That's why I want to see who opened those. What did it say in those envelopes that were handed out at his funeral? Imagine, did you see Hillary's reaction? I want to know what was in those envelopes.
I'm telling you, I think he was the informed consent, or he was the manufactured consent that allowed her to be evil because he was just so smooth and whatever.
He was the director of the CIA.
Yeah,
he has information on everybody.
So anyway, so what happened was this year I voted NOTA. I broke away. I did go to the LP. I was gonna none of the above. I was gonna look at Mike Rechtenwald, but then what happened at LP National Convention? That made me look at the politics again. Oh, I saw the pattern of the politics over the idea. I'm like, what am I doing this for then? So I do vote on like direct initiatives, but people, it's really challenging because I don't know them. So why am I voting for someone I don't know? Why would I vote against someone I don't know? I don't even know why I do any of that, to be completely honest, right? Like I'm just at that point now. So with that, we got a little crazies in our group. We huddle up. William is one of my favorite crazies. Question is, do you think they keep someone like a Massey in a single person, like a Tucker, to be able to be like, oh, he's that opposition. He's not controlled, but he certainly doesn't have the teeth to do that. Because what are your thoughts on that, on their strategy, if that is a strategy?
Well, let me tell you, he says Congress is bought and paid for. That might be the case in, 50%, but others are blackmailed. I mean, they're either bought or blackmailed, and others are threatened. I mean, there are people you saw, they killed Charlie Kirk in front of 50 million people on live television, shot him, and then they threw out a patsy. Same way they did with JFK, they threw out a patsy. Same way they did with Trump and Butler, they killed a patsy. So that way they could blame it all on him. So these people can get to you at any time, and you don't know who they are. A person that stops at a red light next to you could be that guy. The person that's walking behind you, the person that's behind you in line at the Starbucks could be that guy that's ready to kill you. So if they threaten you, you have no idea who they are. It's scary as shit. Imagine people coming into your house, changing shit around, and then saying, hey, I got to your house, or actually grabbing their kid from school, pretending to be a parent, grabbing their kid from school and then bringing them home, saying, hey, I can get to your kids at any point. These people are going to do whatever they say. Now, I will say most of it is bribery. If you look at AIPAC runs Congress, okay? They are Israeli. They run Congress. And if you've noticed, when the whole thing happened with Israel on October 7th, I would say 90% of Congress members had signs outside their congressional office doors that said, I stand with Israel. 90% I stand with Israel. So let me tell you, they are mostly bought and paid for, mostly by AIPAC, but a lot of them are just threatened or blackmailed. Now, there are some that aren't, like a Massey, like a Tim Burchett, Eric Burleson. These people, Rand Paul, these people, they allow to do what they want because they've got to keep the illusion that things are, you've got to keep the illusion that American people have a choice. When you go to vote for Republican or Democrat, that's just an illusion. They're all working together. It's like, have you ever seen a Harlem Globetrotters game, right? Okay, they're playing against the Washington Generals. The Washington Generals lose every single game no matter what. They're supposed to lose. The Republicans are the Washington Generals. The Democrats are the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah, it might look like the Republicans lose. Yeah, it might look like the Democrats always win, but they both share in the profits after the game. It is all an illusion to make you think you have a choice. No matter who you vote for, you do not have a choice.
That's kind of what I think William was getting to. William, I think that was well answered, well asked and well answered. And obviously there was the bias about the bought and paid for. I think he's including obviously the blackmail. We still need to know about Epstein, all this stuff. So I'm only pulling these things up. This is the chat, guys. We're having a great conversation. I don't know that number. I don't know if that's true. I don't know Congressman Burchett's feelings on Israel, so I haven't asked that. So I don't know if you spoke with him about it. So
no, I haven't spoke with him about it. I will say I don't know if that number, if that actually happened or not. But let's pretend it did. 28,000 is not enough to, not enough to get somebody that, not enough to bribe somebody, okay, in Congress. 28,000 is not going to do it. Now, I say maybe they donated 28,000 because they want to help keep him in Congress. Like I said, there are people like a Massey, like a Burchett, like a Burleson, like a Rand Paul that they keep in there to make you think you have a choice. And these congressmen actually do try to work their best. They actually think that they can make a difference. The problem is they can't because there are people that are bribed, blackmailed, or threatened. So AIPAC, yeah, he probably gives money to different entities that to keep them in there, help keep them in there. 28,000 is definitely not enough to bribe anybody, but I can tell you that it is enough to help keep him in Congress, and that they want to keep these people in as long as they can because it helps the voters think they have a choice.
And once again, to follow that up, Chris follows it up with a great conversation as well. He liked the candid interview. So he's obviously, these are healthy criticisms, healthy questions.
I love that he was honest.
Right. His personal opinion, $1 is too much from foreign governments.
Well,
you would argue that AIPAC should be FARA registered. Or
are they not registered as a foreign agent?
They're not. No.
Really?
AIPAC is not. AIPAC's the only one that's not.
Well, they are.
You didn't know that's like the biggest one
in America.
No, they are called American and they're based, but they're not registered FARA, but they've been trying to do that for a while. So I don't know. That might be just new news because that's an interesting, because it makes you start thinking about, well, why not? If it's just lobbying like any other lobbying, you might as well register, right? Like, what are you hiding by not registering?
Well, you see, Chris says that $1 is too much from foreign governments, and I agree. Foreign governments shouldn't have any say in our politics. But did you know this? Let me tell you guys this. The birth certificate for Barack Obama does not matter. If he was born in Kenya, it does not matter. Ted Cruz, born in Canada, it does not matter. You want me to tell you why? Because the Constitution said you have to be a natural born citizen, right? So what happens is when you're born, you have to be a citizen of America. It does not say you have to be born on American soil. That's the problem. If you are born in Kenya and your mother is an American citizen, you are considered a natural born citizen. Ted Cruz ran for president. He was born in Canada, but he ran for president because one of his parents was an American, so he's considered a natural born citizen. So all this talk about Barack Obama's birth certificate is moot. It does not matter as long as one of his parents are. This Constitution does not say you have to be born on American soil. That's the thing that needs to be changed.
Yeah, and the other thing we forgot to mention, Ted Cruz's other parent was a snake. Mm-hmm. We forgot to mention that. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. But so your point is you're defending Obama's eligibility to run as president. Is that correct?
I'm telling you basically what the Constitution says. Yep. And I'm telling you that it needs to be changed so people like Obama can't run.
So it needs to be born on American soil, for example.
On American soil, because natural born citizen is ridiculous.
Well, how would you argue military children on bases? They're technically not, right? We do have those, right? You'd probably have some provincial.
Well, it's the same thing as being like in the American embassy. It's considered American soil. Right. So, I mean, now if you're born, in Nigeria, but you're on a U.S. base, that's considered considered American soil. So for the purposes of being able to run for office, I would consider those and embassies to be American soil, consulates, whatever it is.
Yeah, and that would be written into some kind of law in that way.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure
Oh,
if
yeah.
that were the case. So is this something that would require, I would assume, an amendment? It couldn't be just
It would require
congressional
2/3
act,
of the
right?
states
Of the state,
to ratify into
So
the
38?
Constitution.
38 states, I think, is the number.
Roughly 38,
37,
yeah, because you have, they have to ratify it into the Constitution, and that's the thing is it has to be, it has to be something that a lot of those states agree on. The problem is there's not enough states that are red or enough states that are blue that are going to agree together because they don't want it American soil, the blue. They don't want it to say American soil because they can't run Obama. They can't bring in people from other countries and run them,
Yeah. I'm just going to share this. I'm going to put this up
Sure.
as we ask a question. Once again, William, I'm with you, man. It's like an uphill climb, but Jack had a really awesome conversation with the congressman. So I'd love to try to pick your brain a little bit more if we could on that. What are some other things that he brought up, like the Smith-Mundt? What are some of those other things that you'd like to talk about that he did bring up?
Yeah, the Smith-Mundt Act is huge because I asked him about, so Thomas Massie actually introduced legislation to repeal the modernization of the Smith-Mundt Act. The Smith-Mundt Act basically made using propaganda domestically, which means in America, illegal. That's what it made. Now, Barack Obama modernized it to where now essentially propaganda can be used on domestic soil. That's why you see the government trying to interfere with all these companies, trying to pressure Facebook and X and all this. And that's why you see so many lies happening on mainstream media because it is now legal to use propaganda on American citizens. Now, Thomas Massie is looking to rectify this with his legislation to repeal the modernization of the Smith-Mundt Act. And I asked Tim Burchett if he was for this, if the president was for this. He said they are both for this. They would vote for it right now. The problem is you have to have 60 votes, and that's not enough because they only got 53 Republicans.
Yeah, I think they have 54 votes on that one actual. So they might have gotten maybe 52 and 2.
They'll never
who
get
knows?
60, though. Never.
No, you always have this Venn diagram crossover.
The Democrats need the propaganda. There will never be 60 votes on that.
So this is for the audience, okay? And I'm going to put this once again. I'm just going to put this back up because it's William's comment, but this is how they do it. Smith-Mundt allowed them to propagandize Americans. But little do they know that they've been testing how to propagandize Americans in Europe and Maidan coup, in the color revolutions. They use all of that same tactics that they use to propagandize Americans. They use that there and they honed it and they perfected it. And then we get George Floyd riots. And then we get these weird
It
BLM.
works well.
And then not only that, the BLM fist is the same one that they have with Madeleine Albright with the money in it from the Ukraine Maidan coup.
It's the communist fist, actually, yeah.
Right. It's hilarious that these correlations happen. So we're just trying to uncover this stuff, man. So it's just crazy. So what I love is Smith-Mundt, they're allowed to propagandize us. We're asking to have them stop propagandizing us. When we had the opportunity to repeal the Patriot Act with 702 and at Pfizer, right? They expanded it. So don't expect to hold your breath to get this for our audience, right? Once again, it's another one where they're dangling that carrot.
No, you're absolutely right. And the reason for 9/11 had a lot to do with the Patriot Act. Let me tell you right now, okay? FDR knew that Pearl Harbor was about to be bombed. He knew that information ahead of time. Now, why didn't he do anything about it? Because he needed support to enter the war. Americans were against the war. But as soon as, thousands of people died in Pearl Harbor because of the bombing by Japan, immediately he had support to enter the war. That's what he wanted. Now, let me tell you, George Bush knew ahead of time that 9/11 was going to happen. He knew that the planes were targeting the Pentagon. They were targeting, the Twin Towers. He knew these things, but they let it go anyway. Why? One is for money. I mean, Tower 7 dropped despite not being hit by anything. Billions of dollars that Larry
there was a fire.
Got. Oh, yeah,
There's a
fire
fire.
somehow that happened. I don't know how that. But yeah, so building 7 drops. So you're talking billions of dollars there. But then the main thing, though, is the Patriot Act. Now they can violate your rights. And let me tell you one thing. This is one thing that you're going to want to know, Mark. This is something that everybody needs to be aware of, okay? when things like this happen, they try to ask you to trade liberty for safety, trade freedom for safety. And so many people are scared because this big event happens that they trade their freedom for safety. But what you don't understand is you will never get that freedom back. Never. And that safety, it's BS, because it's not something that was a one-off event. That's not going to happen over and over and over again. But you just traded away your freedom for safety from a thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and that's the whole Franklin quote. Anyone trading their freedom for safety deserve neither.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, and that is the truth. And this is how they get you. This is exactly how it's taken me forever to find the exact quote, but this is, I think, what I come down to. They weaponize your compassion against you for protection, for your safety, for the women, for the children, for the children, for the children. How many child acts are literal just spy campaigns? You're like, what is this? What, you're spying on children? What do you know what I mean? What do
you just made me think. There was a question I wanted to ask Tim Burchett, but I completely forgot.
Write it down for Burleson. Write it down for Burleson right now.
You know what? That's a good idea. And what I was going to
tell me now, and then write it. Yeah, tell me now.
Well, I've already got it written down. I just forgot to ask him, but I'm going to tell you real quick what that question was, because I'm going to ask it on Monday so you guys can listen to it. So the question, check this out, okay? I said, based on all the evidence that is public and other evidence that you are privy to behind closed doors, can you estimate, let's say in the last 100 years, can you ballpark for me how many of America's most infamous events, such as the JFK assassination, 9/11, etc., were actually government ops or false flags? I wanted to ask him that question, and I completely forgot, because he is on the House Oversight Committee. He could ballpark that shit. And I'm going to ask Burleson the same thing.
You should definitely ask him. So once again, we'll go through this. Wilson, FDR, they all do. And once again, FDR, people don't know this. Not only did we know there was an 8-point bulletin or an 8-point letter memo that was created to force Japan, knowing that cutting off their oil from here and pushing them there and forcing an alignment there and doing this would corner them to a point where they'd have to react. And
thank you, Chris. I just want to say thank you to Chris. Sorry.
What do we got? Oh, no, there we go. Oh, yeah, there we go.
He was talking about the question.
Read it out. No, read it out. I want you to read that out. I love
the comment?
Yeah.
Oh, it says that is a fucking awesome question, Jack. and I know question. Chris, because he's over there when I do Are You Smarter Than a Politician? And he actually also watched the podcast with Tim Burchett. So, he's a cool guy. But I mean, that's the question that I wanted to ask, but I am going to ask Burleson. I want to know in the last 100 years how many of these were actually government ops or false flag operations, because that's going to be an interesting question. Yeah.
I mean, so let's go through. We could go through a handful off the top of our heads.
Sandy Hook,
Northwoods. You think Sandy Hook still was kind of op?
Sandy Hook is without a doubt an op. Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this. Now, I'm only going to ask you this because this is out of ignorance. Sure. You're a podcaster in this podcasting space who's grown. You see what they did to Alex Jones over Sandy Hook, and you're still skeptical of something.
Oh, I'm not skeptical. It was without a doubt a hoax. It was without a doubt it's not a false flag. A false flag is something that happens, and then they use it for political reasons, or it happens for a different
right.
Then
like Gulf of Tonkin. Gulf of Tonkin was a false flag or some attack. Okay.
A hoax is something that never happened. This never happened. You need to see. You need to see the documentary. It's called We Need to Talk About Sandy Hook. You need to see that documentary, and I guarantee you. Now, the reason that I'm not afraid to say that is because I have freedom of speech. Now, the reason that he got in trouble is because he actually started attacking these people, doxing these people, harassing these people, ruining their lives, these people. But I can say it's a hoax because that's my own personal belief. It's definitely a hoax.
Interesting. I definitely want to hear.
And I can tell you all about it, man.
Right. And look, let me put it this way. This is my philosophy. I'm very Aristotle. Like, I don't know who said it. They attribute it to Aristotle, but it's the mark of an educated mind to entertain an idea without adopting it. You give me an idea, you give me a premise, you give me all the information, I'll go through it. I'm open enough to compel me to change my mind. One of the people I've changed, Michael Jackson. I was on the Michael Jackson was a pedo side. I, after having much studied this, speaking with his nephew over for 3 hours, it's crazy how you start seeing it, and then you lay that story over every story since. And to your point, it's the pattern. How many of these are the
Well,
same?
they were trying to discredit him. I don't think he was a pedophile either. I think they were trying to discredit him, and trying to because of things that he was doing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. He was
pretty
asking too many questions.
He was getting too big for his britches again. They had it's almost a Diddyism, its own same thing. He gets 4 years for that. 4 years. That's a slap on the wrist for what we even saw in video, even what we actually saw in video.
Yeah. Now, I will tell you, as a conspiracy theorist, and I will tell you that conspiracy theorist is another word for truth teller. Okay, I am 67-0 since 2020 on conspiracy theories coming true that were actually true the whole time. So I am 67-0. I can promise I can name out every single one of them. It would just take a while. But Sandy Hook was a hoax, and I could lay that shit out for everybody. It was without a doubt a hoax.
So this is where I'm in the camp. I do think that there's a targeted effort to drug these kids to have these events happen. So that's where I'm at with it.
Actors, actually.
In a general sense, if I may.
Yeah.
I don't think Tyler Robinson was on that roof. I don't think he fired a shot. I don't think a 30-06 would not do that.
No, it's not going to stick in your neck.
Now, right.
30-06.
Right. So I do think that the state are using the left trans ideology as the enemy for this specific case.
It's their cover,
if I may. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So outside of that, I can't tell you who it is. I can tell you who it's not, and it's not what they're saying, basically.
Exactly. So that's why I say, the whole Charlie Kirk thing is a conspiracy, okay? That's one that I guarantee you Tyler Robinson was not the shooter. First of all, and we can talk about this all day, I'm not going to do it, but a 30-06 bullet's not going to stick in your neck, okay? It's not going to stick in your neck from 150, 200 yards away. The exit wound would be like an orange, okay? It's just not going to happen.
Even with a steel neck like Charlie Kirk's, whose miracle killed him but saved the people behind him?
Yeah, that's impossible. Sure? I mean, even if it hit his vertebrae, it would have knocked his head off. No, it's just not. It's not the case. Okay, so let me tell you that whoever killed Charlie Kirk, I can tell you, like you said, it was not Tyler Robinson. So that's a conspiracy. Sandy Hook, huge conspiracy. Sure. I mean,
I'm interested about the Sandy Hook one. And once again, it none of them ever smell right. Trust me,
I will talk to you about this off air, and I promise you, you will see that Sandy Hook was a hoax.
No doubt. Let's go through some of these interesting comments.
Sure.
Here's an interesting one. Revolution's coming, not a civil war. People are fed up, have government fatigue, have the Federal Reserve stuff. Sadly, tyrannical government, that's where we're at. Maybe it's kind of are we at the tighter your fist, the more systems slip through your hands kind of part of Star Wars is kind of where we're at on that. And then secondly, I don't know, William, did you see my 3-hour podcast conversation with MJ with Taj Jackson? It is fascinating. And I talked to a journalist who's like a prize-winning journalist, and he's like, they mischaracterize that guy so much from the reality. It's unbelievable what like Rupert Murdoch did in The Mirror and all that. So anyway, there we are. FBI, CIA, NSA, where we go? Oh, go ahead, Jack.
I wanted to actually, give me 1 second. I wanted to say something about Chris's comment right there where he says, now the crisis actors are freaking political party leaders. I wanted to say something about that real quick because he's absolutely right. Okay, so let me tell you.
Mondani.
Well, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so here it is. David Hogg. David Hogg.
I knew you were going there.
Exactly. He is the survivor of the 2008 shooting at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. He's the survivor of that shooting. Then all of a sudden, he comes up to be the vice chair of the Democrat Party before he's kicked out of there, obviously. But first of all, you got somebody.
Oh, they put him back.
Yeah. Oh, they put him back. Oh, well, you got a man.
They're like, I guess we can't be this whatever. This.
Well, he has information that these things were false flags. Now they're not hoaxes.
And his dad. What's his dad's connection? Doesn't his dad like in the CIA? FBI,
let me tell you something else about the Charlie Kirk thing. Did you know that Tyler Robinson's father is the person that was hired to redo the crime scene cement company? It was unbelievable. You talk about conspiracies everywhere.
I told someone that yesterday. It was a birthday, Saturday, and it's my girlfriend and her family. And I have challenges sitting there with girlfriends and families because like I didn't vaccinate, everyone vaccinated. I don't do this. I'm outspoken. Like you come to me with something, I start with no and then change my mind. That's where I'm fine with that. But like it's all good. Let's see what else we got. Christie was correct. Civil rights movement. History rhymes. That's a good one. Okay, so what was funny is we're talking about that same exact thing about this the vaccine stuff, and you're like, you guys don't get it. Stop. It's like we can't talk about it. No, you have to talk about it because not talking about it's going to let them do it again. You know.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think I lost my train of thought on that. There was something I had a point, but whatever. Who cares?
No problem.
Anyway, so where are we at, man? Let's talk UFOs. What do we got? What's next?
Hell, I mean, one of the things that I did ask him about, actually, you know what? It's cool because I got the questions right here. So one of the things that I did ask him about is if there's any, a lot of people want to believe, since there's not any real justice happening out in public, a lot of people want to believe that there's justice happening behind closed doors, military tribunals, secret grand jury indictments, trials, and absentia, whatever it is. So I asked him, do you know if there's any justice happening behind closed doors? And he said he definitely believes that there is justice happening right now behind closed doors that nobody gets to see, but it's happening as we speak.
And that interests me because, like, if no one sees it, we don't know what it is. There's no transparency.
Probably military tribunals because you can't.
Right.
Otherwise, it would be a sealed thing. Somebody would get pictures in a courtroom. Oh yeah,
absolutely. So the question then becomes like, about what? Is it about leaving the 8 billion of functional weapons in Afghanistan? I mean, who's paying? Right? Are we talking about Millie?
I'm thinking it's more has to do with the coup
seat, right?
in 2020. I'm thinking that's what it has.
Okay,
more
so
to
the
do
Bay
with.
of Piglets coup, the one that's just been okay.
I mean, treason is the biggest crime that we have.
Let's share about that one. Would you share about this, the one that you think it is, what it's tied to? This is the Venezuela coup that Bolton was part of initially, the start.
No. I'm talking about the 2020 election being stolen in America. That was the coup.
Americans.
We're talking about treason here, which is the biggest crime that you can commit in America. And there are so many people, not just the election that was stolen, but you got people like Adam Schiff pushing the Russia hoax. That was a complete lie. You've got Barack Obama, a sitting president, spying on a presidential candidate. You've got Hillary Clinton putting out fake documents, lying to FISA courts so that they can get wiretaps for a president right now, incoming president. These are all treason charges. So they would have to be military tribunals. It would have to be behind closed doors because if anybody knew this was happening, it could crush the financial market. It could crush everything. Now, there is one conspiracy theory that I am a proponent of, and people might call me crazy. I don't care. I've seen it.
We're all crazy.
Yeah, but
we're
I've actually seen this.
Man. We're fucking crazy, Jack.
I've seen this with my own eyes, though, okay? And I am a proponent of there are body doubles. Zelensky had a body double with him that would walk 10 feet behind him. I saw it with my own eyes. He looked just like Zelensky, had the same clothes on. That way, if there was an event happening, they could have this guy walk first, so he'd be the one that was killed instead of Zelensky. So let me tell you, if there are military tribunals happening, the people out in public, some of the people that they're doing are probably body doubles. Let me tell you one thing. So you got Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden is a man. Now, let me tell you, there are things that don't change. Your ears are not going to suddenly connect to your head, okay? Joe Biden's earlobes were not connected to his head. If you look at the current Joe Biden, his earlobes are actually connected to his face. That does not happen. They don't magically happen that way, okay? So you can tell. If you look at people like Epstein, okay? Epstein, they said he killed himself in prison, okay? Look at Epstein's nose was straight. If you look at the person that they wheeled out, his nose was curved. It looked like a G the way it was curved so bad. These people a lot of them are body doubles. And I do think it's happening behind closed doors where nobody knows about. I really do think that's happening. And that's why I asked Burchett about it. And he said, it's most likely happening. And a lot of these people are body doubles. Did you see the thing where Hillary Clinton was getting arrested? She was getting taken, and she almost passed out when that black van pulled up. There is video of her getting into a black van. She's being carried by two arms, two Secret Service or police officers on either arms, walking her to this van. When she finally gets to the van, she starts shaking and falls backwards. And you can hear handcuffs clanging in the background. I am telling you, and you can watch that video. Go find it on X. You will see that.
Please share that video. I've not even heard about that, and I literally watched
find it real quick.
everything.
Let me tell you that this was unbelievable, and that's one of the things that make me think that these military tribunals are happening behind closed doors. Okay, here we go. I got the video. I'm going to share it real quick with you. Okay, I'm going to share it with.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me see if I can share. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Yeah, please.
Here we go.
Is it working? Let me make sure. All right.
Got it?
I don't see it. It's not.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
There you go.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
All right, so here we go right here. I want you guys to listen to this. Take a listen. This is Hillary Clinton. She doesn't want to get in. She's scared. Hear the handcuffs? She starts to faint. Listen again for the handcuffs. Right there. You hear that?
Yeah, that clink, the little clink.
Yep. And then she faints, and they put her in the van.
And this is been verified, blockchain, AI, all that.
Oh yeah, it's a real video. It's not AI. This happened. This happened a while back.
Yeah, I'm just asking because I saw a shark jump a boat and eat a guy.
Oh yeah, of course. No,
like, no
this
joke.
happened
like,
before
holy
AI
shit,
was even
all the
a thing.
stuff I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I have to ask that question. You know that. So when was that? When are they dating that?
That I would need to check. Let me look and see if it has a date on it. I'm not 100%
she's been
sure.
around walking, or I mean, or at least someone. If we're talking body doubles, let's just go all in. Someone representing her is still around talking and doing.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, is the whole body double thing. And actually,
that's the real one that they took.
I'm sorry?
I'm saying that's the real Hillary they took into custody, and the body double's the one doing the rounds now, is what would be the claim.
Confirmed that it is Hillary Clinton. Thing about it?
Yeah.
There is video up front where you can see she is handcuffed behind her back in that video. And I'm going to show it to you real quick. I'm going to stream it one more time. A different video.
Yeah.
You can see her hands behind her back and that she is actually handcuffed. And I want to show everybody this real quick.
Very cool.
Okay, go ahead. You good?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to start this at the beginning. Now, it's got loud music, so you might want to turn down the music. I don't know if you want to or not, if you can turn down the volume. I'm going to try to turn it down on my...
I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't have the control.
All right, I got it turned down. So here, I want you to see this, okay? Look behind her back. You see her hands? Now watch. That's her hand right there. Right there is her hand.
Yeah. Tucked behind the skirt or behind the...
No, her hands are behind her back right now. Can you see this woman grabbing her arm, leading her? Look at that. Her hands are behind her back.
Yeah.
And she faints when she's about to be put in the van. Look at that. Right there. Yeah, there you go.
And it's The Undertaker. So for all you WWE fans out there.
But I'm saying that's the clearest evidence that you could see that Hillary Clinton was arrested and put in that van. And it's been confirmed that it is Hillary Clinton. You can go find it.
I wonder if Hillary's body double gets the heebie-jeebies and feels gross being
Now, let me tell you, there are people... They can find body doubles that look exactly like you. Everybody has a twin. And not only that, but these people are paid millions of dollars, and what they do is they do plastic surgery to look more like you, all kinds of things. I want you to go on X, everybody that's listening, go on X and search for Volodymyr Zelensky's body double. You will see it looks exactly like him, and it walks with him, has the same clothes on, same stupid sweatshirt and sweatpants. You'll see. And I'm telling you, body doubles are a real thing. This video is exactly when she's arrested. You hear the handcuff clinks. You see her hands behind her back. You see her being led into this van. When the van doors open, you see her get scared and shake and pass out almost. This was her. And it has been confirmed that it is Hillary Clinton. That's a fact.
That's crazy stuff. So, I would love to just get a timestamp on the date. Like, I'm just curious.
Actually, you know what? Let me work on that.
Yeah, you'll pull it up. No, you'll just pull it up. You'll share it. Like, that's the whole thing is, once again, we're all here to share information. What people do with what you share is up to them. You know,
it was September 11th, 2016.
Oh, wow.
September 11th, 2016 is when that happened.
16. So that would have been was that the year of her failed election?
No. Yeah, it was right. And I mean, right before
November 16 would
Trump
have been
became
her
president.
election.
You know
right?
why she was arrested?
And she had a stroke and fell. Didn't she fall and hit her head? Was that from this thing? Maybe did she fall?
Do you want to know? No, but do you want to know why she was arrested? Because they found out that the Russia thing was a hoax. So she was arrested for treason for doing the whole Steele dossier thing. And then, but see, if you arrest all these people, it's going to make, not only is it going to make America look weak, but it could crash a lot of things. I mean, you're talking about politicians that are huge. It could crash the economy if this, it would scare it would cause a lot of problems. Okay. A lot of problems. There might even be a fight between politicians to let this person go or whatever. But military tribunals behind closed doors, there's nothing they can do about it. This happened September 11th, literally 2 months before Donald Trump was elected president. He had a 3% chance to win the presidency, but he won the presidency. And I'll tell you why, because Hillary Clinton was not actually running by November.
No, he had an 8% chance. Don't you remember? It was 92-8.
Yeah. Well, either way, Hillary Clinton was not running.
It's going to be 92% of people who could vote would vote for Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. No
but
one.
He won because Hillary Clinton was no longer running at that time. She was no longer, so they couldn't have her elected, because if she was elected, there's no Hillary Clinton. So.
Right, here we go. So Bill doesn't have the influence he did with the Dixie Mafia anymore. That's true. That would be Whitewater and all the other stuff.
He probably did.
He probably did.
If you want the truth, he probably did.
Problem.
Yeah.
I was done with that bitch.
I mean, hell, if you want to get out of stuff, Hillary's the number one person that they want trial for. She's probably already been executed behind closed doors.
Yeah. Cool.
And I know, and look, Mark, I want to tell you, I know you think this might be out there, but I'm telling you 100% that was her. You can look it up. She was arrested in that video, and there are you know what? I'm going to find you the body doubles just so people can look. I'm going to find it for you real quick.
Jack, I'm with you 100%, man. I ain't even pushing back. I haven't shared my crazy with you, bro. You have no idea what crazy is.
Well, see, the
like.
thing is, people think this is crazy, but it's not. It's actually
a
real thing.
But that's the point, is mine's real too. It's just, it's all perception, man. It's all
hey,
perception.
I found it. Can I share it with you real quick?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Bring it, man. Share the information.
I want you to see
first of all, thank you for everybody being here. We got Jack Danger on. We've had this conversation well over an hour. We're having a great time. We're going to talk some more, but go ahead, Jack, set it up.
Yeah, I want to show you guys this, and it confirms, this is the president of Ukraine. It confirms that body doubles are used, and when a military tribunal happens, the body double just steps in to keep up appearances. Let me show you something real quick. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. All right, go ahead and you can put it on whenever you're ready. Is it up? Okay, good.
Yep.
So check this out. Here's what I'm going to show you. Okay.
I love how, first of all, hold on, before you continue, man, I love how excited you get, because that's how we should be approaching all this stuff. We should approach it super excited, and then it slowly weans as we get more information and get more centered. But I love that you jump out like this. So thank you for doing.
I got a lot of passion for this kind of stuff, so
I love it.
It kind of leaks out. But check this out, man. I want you to look at this, okay? First of all, here's his body double. See how it looks exactly like him and it's dressed like him? Look at that. That is his body double, okay? Then look over here. Right here. See his body double? Look. Exactly like him, waiting in the wings behind him. This is actual body doubles for the president of Ukraine, and Ukraine.
I'm certain Eastern European countries have body doubles.
Oh, without a doubt.
What's funny is maybe that's who had the baggie of cocaine, was Zelensky's body double.
Well, you never know, but look, that guy has the same beard and mustache, the same hair, the same outfit.
The gait, like he's standing that same pose and everything. Yeah, he's doing the whole thing.
They groom these people to look exactly, plastic surgery. They teach them how to walk, everything. You get paid millions of dollars to be the body double. Oh, you better believe it.
I believe it, man. So, look, you've been here, hour 15. This is your show, man. You've been gracious in your time. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to share? Anything?
Well, actually, I have to get going soon because I got to get up early for work. But I'd love to come back on sometime because this has been a ton of fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to come on your show at some point as well.
Definitely. We'll have you on.
I'll send you a link from a podcast I did. It's only an hour.
Okay.
But it might set the table for the crazy. So
sure, I'd love to listen to it.
So before we go, First of all, thank you so much for joining us, man. I'm so excited. It was a great conversation you had with the congressman. Looking forward to next week. I'm going to catch that one as well before I do my show with, I think, Clint Russell. So maybe I'll try to get if Clint has time and if he confirms. Once again, Clint is such a busy guy. It is a tentative schedule. I've been trying to get him since December 2023. So like, I mean, I've met him since. Like, it's crazy that I've not been able to connect.
Very busy person.
It's just right. And he's wanted. He's a high commodity, obviously. So I'm just excited to even have the opportunity to talk with him. But hopefully we'll both listen in and talk about that. But then again, we've got Free on the 10th of November. And then we've got a guy named Shaka Mitchell who I think he built 2 charter schools in Tennessee, and he's doing education school choice. Very interesting guy. You would be surprised. You wouldn't. He's not like the Van Jonesian like Shaka that you'd think when you hear Shaka. Very curious guy. Music interest and everything. So those are all the stuff we got. Thank you, Jack, so much. Before we call it, please send us all your information. How can we get a hold of you? How can all the people who are watching talk to you, reach out to you, and watch your stuff going forward?
Sure. I'm going to share my screen real quick if that's cool with you.
Yeah. Once again, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to show everybody, where you can find me and the show. So, okay. So here is my screen right here. If you can see it. Got it? Okay, good. All right. So you can if you go to secretamericalive.com, right? This is what comes up. It says Secret America Live Mondays at 7. You can click on any one of these links and it'll take you to that, like if you click on Rumble, it'll take you to our Rumble channel. YouTube, it'll take you to our YouTube channel. Here, it'll tell you what episode is next, which was the episode today. And then you can even watch it on our show. Right there it was the live feed for this episode from YouTube. And then you also got down here, click to support the show. You can buy us a coffee. You just click this logo and you can buy us a coffee, to help support the show, because me and James pay for everything ourselves. We don't run ads. We don't have anything like that. So we pay for everything ourselves. So, buying a coffee helps a lot. So you got secretamericalive.com. But then also, if you go to X, my page is actually at America's Outlaw right here. At America's Outlaw, you go to my page right here. It's at America's Outlaw. It's America's with a Z. I'm trying to up my followers. Right now I have about 55,000, but I try to follow back anybody that's interesting. So, if you're interesting, I'd love to follow you back. I'd love to talk to you. And that's where you can find me. And you can also find James at Clary Podcast, but Secret America is the main thing. If you want to watch us on X, it's at Secret America TV.
That's awesome. And that's how I did it. I went on secretamericalive.com, was it? Secret America.
Sweet. Yeah.
Secretamericalive.com. Right. That's what I typed in, and I watched it in the web browser through the YouTube. It was really cool. It's very intuitive, guys. So yeah, so it does all your stuff functioning awesome. So it was great to do. Well, once again, thank you, man. You have any final thoughts, any comments, quotes, anybody you wanna shout out to before we call it a night?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out. Yeah, definitely. Well, actually, thank you, Mark, for having me on your show. It's been a lot of fun. Great, great conversation. It's always fun. I love live shows. That's why we do our show live. So I also want to shout out to James Clary at Clary Podcast. He's my partner on Secret America. I want to thank Congressman Tim Burchett, and I also want to thank Congressman Eric Burleson, who will be on our show this coming Monday. But Tim Burchett did a great job answering the questions openly and honestly. After the show, he said he loved it and he wanted to come back on. So we'll definitely have him back on at some point too. Hopefully this time with a little more time rather than just the 30 minutes. But, I had a great time here. I had a great time, on our show. And, just go to secretamericalive.com. You can help support the show with buying a coffee. And you can also subscribe to, any of the channels that we have.
That's awesome. So we're going to end on one more question because this is just a good one. We kind of talked about it in regards to Sandy Hook from William. Mm-hmm. What are your just general thoughts on Alex Jones? We'll call it a day, but thank you again before we call it. Once we end this, I'll have a outro, but stay on. We'll just talk real quick before we call it. But I'm so grateful. I'd just love to hear your thoughts on that before we call it to our guests.
Oh yeah, sure. No problem. Now, what I can tell you is, I like Alex Jones, in theory. A lot of his ideas and a lot of his conspiracy theories are correct. They're good ones, but then he goes too far with it. Like with Sandy Hook, was it a hoax? Absolutely. But he harassed people and all these other things in order to get, in order to get actual evidence of it. And that's what cost him $1 billion. That's insane. Okay, that judgment, how the hell
100%,
$1 billion judgment stood, and it stood even through the Court of Appeals. It stood. It is absolutely mind-boggling, and it is $1 billion. You can check on the thing. It's $1 billion, but it's
it is $1 billion. Yeah,
it's mind-boggling. How can you have a judgment of $1 billion for like a defamation suit or libel or whatever? And it stood through the appeals court. They just sold InfoWars.
It was to send a message, right?
They just sold InfoWars.
It was a total bullshit. It was to send a message.
Same with Trump.
And that's the thing. I think Alex Jones.
You don't question anything.
Same things. I think Alex Jones is very good at pattern recognition.
That's the thing.
Right?
Exactly.
Like we've called it time and time again. These things rhyme. So when you see something, you're like, you lay that same story over and you cut out all the things are already cut out and says you are being lied to. It's just like it's so clear once you start seeing it. So once again, thank you, Jack. It was a great conversation. Great talk with the congressman. Really excited about next week for you as well, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a great day. Everyone, next week, the 3rd, Clint Russell should be joining us, tentatively joining us. I am very excited. But a new time, 7 p.m. Because Arizona, we're a bunch of retards. And we don't do our daylight savings. So everyone else moves and we stay the same and create all kinds of confusion for all
next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately,
you're trying to go up against my show then. Okay.
I'm not going to go up against your show. Watch mine after. Clint can wait, I guess. Clint's popular. He can wait. I don't even let's be honest. I'll be honest. I'm probably betting 51-49 someone way bigger is going to get him on a show at 7 p.m. on Monday.
No. Hopefully he'll come on. I hope he does. That would be great.
No, Clint's a great guy. He's really great. But anyway, so yeah, unfortunately, we'll step on each other, but that's the daylight savings, man. That's not my fault. Blame this whole government stuff. So,
no problem.
Thanks again, Jack. We'll talk again. Obviously, thank you again. Are you smarter than a politician? How many times have you been on now?
I think 4 times.
Okay, you win. Did you win?
3 out of 4. Yeah.
All right, man. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
a lot of fun.
Well, thank you again. We got our outro. Stick around. We'll just talk real quick and we'll call it a day. Everyone else, thank you so much for joining If by Whiskey. Have a great day.
It's been too long since I've cared. I keep the pain inside my head. But this reckless life of a bandit will surely take me to my grave. I've got my iron and my 6 string.